Welcome back to the Trackstar Podcast, a conversation about music and culture centered around a playlist I've specifically created for our guests. This week, a conversation with someone who I think is one of the all-time great American singer-songwriters, Lucinda Williams.
Oh, wow. I'm 10 years old again.
Can you tell me about writing that song and what was happening in your life?
I wanted to write songs that people would take seriously.
They don't make songs like that anymore.
Makes me want to cry every time I hear them.
Over the course of this conversation, Lucinda talks a little bit about her songwriting process and some of her favorite artists, like Otis Redding, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, and Audioslave.
Great fucking song.
Is he an inspiration?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, come on. It's sexy. It's hot as hell.
I got the chance to see Lucinda Williams perform this summer, and she was amazing. I was so excited for this conversation. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Without further ado, roll the intro.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Check, check.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Trackstar, let's go.
I wish the world could be in these headphones right now.
I'm on the show. How fun.
We're off to a very hot start here. I picked some songs to play for you today.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see if I made some good choices. I don't know. I think that I picked all good songs.
Okay.
So that helps. Hopefully
Yeah.
you don't judge too harshly what I chose. And you have to tell me who the artist is.
Okay.
Identify the song, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Okay. Great.
You've never seen this show before.
No, I'm up for a challenge, though.
Okay, good. Before I start playing you some songs, just introduce yourself right here.
Hi, I'm Lucinda Williams.
Where are we sitting right now?
We are in my new bar called Lucinda's in New York City on the Lower East Side.
That's pretty cool. How'd that come about?
Jesse Mallon, who's a great artist and also a good friend, had been involved in some other bars around New York. And one was called Brownies, and that had closed down, and the owners were looking to open up a new bar. And one of the people involved in all that approached me on the road. I forget what town we were in, but she just came up and said, "How would you like to be involved in this new bar that we're trying to open in New York?" And at first I thought it was like an investment thing, but that's not what it was. It was more, they were looking for creative partners. So I said, yeah. And they used my name to name the bar, which was kind of humbling and cool at the same time.
Is this your first bar?
Yeah, it's my first one. And I can't believe how it's taken off.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I've never done this before.
It's popping in here. This is like the place to be.
I know, right? It's turned into this hip little
And there's a
thing,
stage.
right?
There's music here.
Yep, we started having live music. I played with my band on the opening night. We had this big, great opening night, and I guess the word kind of got out, and so other artists started coming around and calling about playing, and before we knew it, we had regular series of live music going on in here, and it's just been great.
Are you ready to listen to a song?
Yeah,
This is for you.
okay. I'm sorry, I get fidgety.
It's okay.
Okay.
Let me know if I should go louder or quieter.
Don't wanna see you again or hold
Oh, wow.
cause you don't
That's so sweet.
Do you know who that is?
I'm pretty sure I know. I thought it was me at first.
Well, I wonder why. That's
But-
Angel Olsen.
That's Angel? Oh, my God. I had no idea she recorded that.
You didn't know that.
No.
What do you think about that?
It's absolutely gorgeous.
What's the name of that song?
Greenville.
Who wrote it?
I wrote it. Yeah. You know who I thought it was? I thought it was Emmylou Harris.
Yeah. Her voices, they both have incredible voices.
And I didn't realize that Angel's voice did that, because she also sings in this really low, smoky style. So I didn't realize that was Angel. That's beautiful. Wow.
What is it like hearing someone else do one of your songs?
It's really great. I mean, because I know what it's like to sing someone else's song. For me, I'm really particular, about when I'm picking a song that someone else wrote. I have to be able to get into the song and feel it, and feel an emotional attachment and all of that. So it's a big deal when somebody does one of my songs. It's an honor, actually.
I saw you this summer in Saratoga at the SPAC, and I don't know, that song, you played that song a little later in the set, and for some reason that song stood out to me. That song has always kind of stood out to me. But can you tell me about writing that song and what was happening in your life?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the name of the town, Greenville, is just such a great name for a town. And there's a Greenville, Mississippi, and I'd met someone from there. I was actually in Greenville, Mississippi, at a blues festival, and met this guy there, and, I was impressed by him. I was kind of thinking about him, but then I was thinking about, sometimes when I'm writing, I can start out thinking about one particular person or place or something, and then it just kind of develops into this bigger picture. But the seed of it will start, and then it just kind of grows from there.
It is a good name. And there's also, it could be any place because there's Greenvilles all over.
Yeah, it could be any place, and it could be any person, really. And some of the verses were taken from my own experience, being around someone who was, would act out a lot, and the borrowed cash, the broken glass, and all of that,
Okay, I wanted to start there, and then we can kind of work our way backwards to different places. But that song, I was just thinking about that song, and that version it's poignant.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
it really is. I'm so impressed that she did that she covered that song.
When your mother sends back all your invitations.
All right. Why are you bowing down?
Because it's Bob. It's the Bob.
Yeah.
My hero.
Tell me about discovering Bob Dylan. At the first time you started, you heard him and he stood out to you, or his music.
Yeah, it was the album Highway 61 Revisited.
Yep.
My dad was teaching. We were living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My dad was teaching at LSU. And one of his students came over to the house one day to talk to him about something. And I opened the door to let him in, and he was clutching a copy of that album, frantically waving it in his hand and saying, "Everyone has to listen to this record now. It's extremely important. It's vitally important that everyone hear this record." It was like an event. That's how it used to be sometimes when a particular artist would put something new out, you know. Everybody would get excited about it and get together and listen to it together. So he came in the house and set the album down and went in to talk to my dad. And I went over and picked the album up and put it on the stereo and started playing it. And there it was in all of its glory, And I didn't understand all the words at first, but it spoke to me somehow. Even I was only 12.
At that age, were you playing music yet, or did you know music was going to be a part of your life?
Yeah,
at that point?
I'd started that same year. I'd started taking guitar lessons, and pretty soon I was able to play enough to accompany myself on guitar and sing, and I would just spend hours and hours doing that, just in my room, learning from songbooks. I collected songbooks by all, I would get the album that was out by a certain artist, and then I would look for the songbook that had those songs in it, because I had to learn the melody that way. And then the songbook, I could get the lyrics and the chords, and that's what I did during that part of my life.
What drove you to pick up the guitar in the first place? Like, what was it that was interesting to you about that? Because you had a piano in the house, too? My mother
played piano, and my brother later played piano. But unfortunately, I never picked up the piano, but wish I had. the guitar, a friend of my dad's, another writer, had left a guitar over at the house, and it wasn't in great shape or anything, but I was just organically drawn to different instruments, and before I knew how to play them, I would just pick them up out of curiosity and, just see what I could do on them. And my dad could see that I was interested, so he bought me I think it was called a Silver Tone or something from Sears. He got me that guitar, and, then I was on my way, and I mean, I was pretty obsessed with it.
I guess you have to be.
You have to be that, yeah, because there's so many other distractions, when you're that age, and especially during those times.
What was your experience of New York at that age, or what did you think of it?
A place I heard about that I wanted to go to.
You did want
at some
to.
point. Oh yeah, I wanted to be Joan Baez, hanging out with Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
The whole folk music scene in the Village and all that. I read about it and heard about it and saw that, I would see her photos and Bob Dylan's photos and see them on stage together and at different marches and demonstrations. And she was tall and slim and had long, beautiful hair. And the photo on the cover of Highway 61 Revisited really made an indelible impression on me. Yes, that look. I looked at the cover of the album and I see this young, lanky man with long, wavy hair, wearing a Triumph motorcycle T-shirt and jeans, and I was smitten. That was it.
He's kind of giving this trickster look too.
Yeah.
He is a trickster, I guess, but there's something that he's doing on that album cover that he's saying something
mysterious.
To you. Yeah.
Kind of comes out of that photo. Yeah. And that appealed to me, even at the young age of 12. And then the music, his songs on top of that. How could you resist?
So, as a lyricist, you're exposed at an early age. Is that something that you're then striving to?
Yes.
Let me try and write songs like that.
Yeah. I wanted to write songs that people would take seriously, and, but it just took some practice over the years. And I learned really just by osmosis a lot of times, just listening over and over and over to other great songwriters like Bob, Leonard Cohen. And there were some country artists like Hank Williams I heard a lot of because my dad loved him and he would play him a lot. And I listened to a lot of blues. I got into a lot of Delta country blues. And those lyrics are really great. Robert Johnson was a blues poet, really.
I'm going to play you another song.
But you didn't ask me what the name of that song was.
Oh, what was it?
Queen Jane Approximate.
There we go.
Well, I wanted to show that I knew it. That's part of the whole thing.
You described the whole album cover without even...
I know.
Get out while you can. 'Cause you ain't woman enough
To take my man. Loretta.
Yeah, I saw her picture somewhere, and there's, I think pretty much everyone we talk about today, there's a picture somewhere in here. You mentioned Hank Williams. I wanted to play Loretta Lynn.
Tammy
Wynette, of course.
George Jones.
The best.
Merle Haggard. Real country, not country pop.
What does she mean to you as a musician?
God,
And what'd you learn from her?
I loved her so much. Well, her voice, for one thing. I just adored her voice and, her personality and everything. And I don't know if I know which songs, but I'm pretty sure she wrote some songs herself, which was unusual at that time,
She wrote this one.
Right. I thought she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there she is, one of the first women writing her own songs and putting them out there.
Yeah.
So
The way that she captures, heartbreak and pain
yeah.
always stood out to me.
Well, I just love her so much too because she's so country.
Yeah.
she sounds country, she looks country, and she is country, and she's proud of it, you know.
2 for 2. 3 for 3 so far. You want to take some coffee?
Yes. Oh, wow. God. I'm 10 years old again. And that's so sweet. I loved them. Peter, Paul, and Mary.
What a great song.
I love it.
I haven't listened to it in a long time.
I haven't either. That was one of the first songs I learned how to play on the guitar and sing.
Why did you choose that? You just had a book?
All of the kids loved that song, and I was 12 when I started taking guitar lessons, and the guy who taught me, he was in a rock band, and this was kind of like his side gig, and he would come over once a week, and he would let me choose a song I wanted to learn, which is a great way of learning instead of just sitting there playing chords over and over again. And of course, that was one of the ones I picked that I first wanted to learn. He would show me the chords and the finger picking style for that song. And so then I would practice it until the next week when he came again. And then, I'd pick another song. And so I learned that way and also built up my repertoire a little bit,
I would love to see you do a cover of that song. They don't make songs like that anymore.
No. And I loved Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
I just adored them.
So good. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further into the future.
Oh, yeah.
So clearly, this is an important artist for you. You did a whole album, right, of Tom Petty songs.
Yes.
You love him.
I adore him and his music and him.
Yeah. Tell me about Tom Petty.
Well, we met and he became familiar with my music and was a big fan and asked me to open some shows for him. And he never forgot what it was like, when you're first kind of getting started. He was always really kind and supportive of other artists who weren't as famous.
Yeah.
And my band and I got asked to open at his shows that were the last shows he did at the Hollywood Bowl in LA, which was a real honor, of course. And we did, I think there were 2 or 3 shows that he did over a couple of nights, or 2 or 3 nights, and he asked us to open, and it was a weekend, and then the following Monday, we got the news that, something was wrong, and we lost him. He was gone, and it just completely shattered me, because we were just becoming closer, right around that time. I still get sad when I think about it.
Is that when you decided to do the covers, almost like a healing?
At a certain point, yeah. Well, we were doing a series of albums that were tributes to other artists, and we called it Lou's Jukebox, and it was fun. It was just an idea that we came up with when we had too much time on our hands, I guess. I think it was around the COVID time, and a lot of people were kind of looking for ways to fill that time up. And my husband and manager, Tom Overby, actually came up with the idea. And because we did a Bob Dylan one, and we did, several different ones. And we wanted to honor Tom Petty and do one of his songs are so great.
You have like a complementary style too, I think. The way that your music and his music, they sort of fit together. Like it's like meant to be. It's like kindred spirits.
I know. See, that's the thing. That's what happened between Tom Petty and me, because there was that connection, because he was drawn into what I was doing. And I always wondered, because, he was such a huge celebrity at that point.
Yeah.
I used to wonder, like, wow, what does he see in my music that draws him in so much? But then when I started recording some of his songs, I could see the connection. And I think other people saw that too, could see that.
Yeah, like I Won't Back Down. I could see that. I could see that being one of your songs.
Exactly. Yeah, it sounds like something I'd write almost. I know it's really kind of uncanny how much we had in common.
We're mixing it up again. I can't hear it, but I can hear it.
Oh, I love it. How can you not love this? It's so, just like,
Yep.
That's how I learned to do that, was listening to these guys. Howlin Wolf, Smokestack, Lightnin.
What do you hear in that song? And what do you hear in Howlin Wolf?
Realness, grit, sex. I mean, come on. It's sexy. It's hot as hell, All those guys, Muddy and Howlin Wolf and Robert Johnson, Squeeze My Lemon Till the Juice Run Down My Leg. Led Zeppelin picked up on and
Yep.
Did include it in their catalog. I mean, they did a version of a Memphis Minnie song, When the Levee Breaks. So yeah, all that stuff I fell madly in love with Delta Blues. When I discovered Robert Johnson, I started digging around and discovering some of the other artists like that. And it's just so primal. It's primal and primitive and, just wakes that part of you up, I think.
They also, it's like they make the guitars sing in a way.
Yeah.
It's like a whole other,
It's
it
a
has
whole
voice.
whole other level of guitar playing. Yeah.
Like when you listen to Smokestack Lightning, you're listening to, it's almost like someone's singing the guitar part the way you just feel it and relate to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. I was looking at this
That's amazing.
old poster here. I'm telling you, all these
I got
songs.
my mojo working. That it's just primal sex. That's what it is. Animal, primal, primitive.
I've got dreams.
Otis. Nobody sings like he does. That voice. Oh God, makes me want to cry every time I hear him. His voice sounds like a big teardrop. It's just, wow. He was so good. I don't know what it takes to be able to sing like that. I try as hard as I can, but I'm never going to sound that way, probably.
I think you come close.
Really?
I do think you come close. Otis is like from above or something. It's just that's not a person.
He's
singing.
not
That's
human.
different.
No, he's not.
I think you do come close with the delivering the emotion in the way that you sing.
Wow, thank you.
So is he an inspiration in some ways?
Oh God, yeah. And back then, of course, you could hear this stuff on the radio more than you would now. At his Dock of the Bay was playing all the time, and I'd hear all these great songs coming out of the radio. And I had a little transistor radio. Remember those? When I was, 11 or 12 or something, yeah. I had one of those, and the little tinny.
You just carry it around.
I would carry it around, and I would go to bed with it, and I couldn't go to sleep unless I heard some music. So I'd turn it on and, sometimes pick up these stations that were far away, but they'd be playing this kind of stuff.
Have you spent much time in Memphis?
Not as much as I would have.
Have you ever recorded down there?
No, but we're talking about recording a Lou's Jukebox album at Muscle Shoals and recording a bunch of those kinds of songs that would have been recorded there.
I got one. I'm pretty sure this is Muscle Shoals.
You're no good, heartbreaker.
God.
You're a liar and you're a cheat. And I don't
Aretha.
Okay, that would be a good one for you to do down in Muscle Shoals.
That's a great one. Yeah, that was Aretha Franklin.
Tell me about Aretha Franklin.
Well, I never got to meet her, but again, her voice was very present, back when I was a teenager and listening, discovering music and stuff. And, I loved her right off the bat and figured I'd probably might as well not even think about trying to sing like her, because my voice just wasn't going to do that,
Nobody's voice is going to do
I
that.
had to live. I know she's like one of those freaks.
No, nobody can sing like that.
Yeah, but I love the songs, like that one and Respect.
Yeah.
Loved that. What she was singing about and her voice and just the whole package.
What do you think about genres?
They got in the way quite a bit when I was trying to get a record deal.
Yeah.
Because, they kept saying the record company powers that be, right, kept saying my stuff fell in the cracks between country and rock. So they didn't know how to market me. And they need to know how to market you. Otherwise, they get upset about that. Because that's why they call it the music business. It's a business. The artist is the product, and the record company has to market this new product. So they need to know what to call it, so they know which bin to put your record album in the record store. And I think I've been in almost every genre there is in record stores. I've seen my albums in the folk section, country section, rock section, even pop section. Of course, now they call that Americana, the space in between country and rock.
Yeah. I asked it because I was thinking about Aretha and you sort of being genre agnostic. And Aretha comes from a time at her peak that was pre-genres.
Yes.
People called it soul later. That's a made-up term, kind of, right? But she did everything.
Yeah, and most of the artists I liked were like that. They were doing all the blending different styles, like the band. John Fogerty, Creedence, they were like that. Buffalo Springfield, which was my all-time favorite band, probably. They did a lot of different, because, everybody talks about Graham Parsons kind of created that hybrid, between country and rock.
Country rock thing, yeah.
Right.
The Rolling Stones thing.
But there were a lot of other artists doing that, already, like Neil Young and Buffalo Springfield, those guys. That song they recorded, Kind Woman, that's a country song, I think, So that was already been happening, kind of, a lot of different. Bob Dylan, of course, Nashville Skyline, and he was doing that hybrid folk rock thing, which I loved. I think they should go back to calling it folk rock again. So yeah, those were the pre-genre days when you liked an artist because of that artist, and the artist drew you in, not what kind of music it was.
I had this other song in here for you, just because we were talking about him.
Hello, Ruby in the dust.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Neil Young and Crazy Horse. I love it, love it, love it.
What makes Neil Young so special?
Just his energy, his spirit. He's a freak. He's not a human. His voice just goes up. Those high notes he hits, and they sound totally natural, like he's not trying too hard.
Yeah.
And, when you meet him, he's just the sweetest, most down-to-earth person. I've smoked pot with him at his house in California. And, he's like who you might think he's like what you might think he would be
Yeah.
like, you know.
What'd you guys do when you smoke weed? Do you listen to music?
Well, we were sort of, he and his wife at the time hosted this party at their house. And they had a fire pit outside going, and people just standing around drinking beer and smoking pot. And Neil had a joint in his pocket. And it doesn't take me long because I don't smoke a lot of pot anymore.
Yeah.
So just a couple of hits and I'm already, you know, so I was trying to be a smart ass, I guess. And I saw that joint sticking out of his pocket and I said to Neil, I want to smoke that with you. And he looked down and he goes, okay.
Sure
You know,
thing.
And he pulls it out of his pocket and lights it up. And then I started getting paranoid. My mind was racing. And I'm standing with him on the porch of his house, and I mentioned that, you know, that was happening. And I was starting to get kind of anxious. And he goes, is your mind racing too much or something, you know? And I said, yeah, and I don't like it. And he goes, you just got to let it go. Just let the thoughts flow and, you know, and it'll be okay. And he was trying to make me feel better and calm me down in his own way. He's so sweet. He's a complete, total sweetheart.
That's like relevant life advice no matter what, whether you're
Exactly.
stoned or not.
Right.
You just got to
exactly.
let it flow.
Yeah. And I could tell that he'd had that experience before himself, you know, because he's real sensitive and probably picks up a lot of. I'm like a sponge, sort of. Like if I walk into a crowd of people, I just, you know, pick stuff up and soak it up, whatever the energy is, you know. And he's probably like that to some extent, I would think, because he seems to be really sensitive and really, you know, just very observant and aware. And he's just written some incredibly beautiful songs over the years.
So your job is to almost be a vessel, right? It's to absorb.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it a lot of times. Sort of a conduit.
So what's happening now? You have a whole new album.
Mm-hmm.
What are you feeling? Like how is this different from other stuff in the past?
There was a lot going on politically, and I was starting to see more social injustice and just things I didn't like, you know, that I would hear about on the news. And it just seemed like it went from bad to worse. Now we're dealing with the whole ICE thing, which is completely unacceptable in my book. You know, in a country, in the United States of America in this day and age, we have a president who would rather be a king and have a monarchy than a democracy. I mean, that whole concept is so ludicrous. Never in my lifetime have I been around when there was a president like this. And I'm talking about Trump people, just in case you're not paying attention. I'll just say his name. Say my name, say my name. You know, it's Trump. I don't even like saying it. But,
It sounds
you know,
good coming from you though, because I can hear the disdain. You know, when you say it, Trump, like.
But, you know, like I was waking up every day and there was something new, some new piece of news that was completely unacceptable, ludicrous. And I mean, it's insane, y'all. You know, is anybody going to do anything?
Part of it is what is
See, that's when I wrote these songs, to get it out of my system first, because that's how I process things.
yeah.
Because it's very cathartic and therapeutic a lot of times when I write.
What's your process like now, and how's it changed?
Get
From
really pissed
when you
off or
started?
depressed and frustrated about something, and I start with the lyrics usually now first, and, you know, come up with enough to the point where I can sit down with my guitar and apply the melody to the lyrics.
Is that different, or is that how you've always kind of done it?
That's pretty much how I've always done it. I've either had the lyrics, or I have some lyrics first just to get the ball rolling and get started, and and then it just kind of unfolds organically usually once I sit down and start looking at it and working on it. I try to find some kind of little hook or refrain, like Greenville.
Yeah.
Go back to Greenville, go back to Greenville. And
This is another interesting one.
oh yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, it does. You haven't heard that song in a while, I guess.
Right. It's been a while. I forgot how good it was.
It is. I mean, the reason I brought that up is what you were talking about, finding a refrain. It's very
Right.
poetic
Yeah.
and sort of abstract, like it's like an impressionistic type thing.
Yeah.
But it's also poppy at the same time. It's not.
Kind of pop. I know I discovered that I actually use that a lot in my songs, sort of these pop things. Because I loved there was some great pop music that was out, when I was coming up, learning songs and playing guitar and stuff. And then people kind of got into this thing like, oh, that just sounds like a stupid pop song. It became kind of a metaphor for, saying that it wasn't a good song. But there were some great songs in that genre. Petula Clark, Downtown,
So good.
Dionne Warwick, all those Burt Bacharach songs.
Incredible.
Amazing stuff. What's it all about, Alfie? Those songs were amazing and fantastic.
And they were made very purposefully, right?
Right.
It was like the industry was shaped around how do we craft this thing
To get played on
so
the
that
radio.
it's the same way that Andy Warhol was creating art, that he wanted to get people's attention.
Right.
He wanted the most amount of people to think it was exciting
Yeah.
and great. It's art. It's still just
Pop
a different
art.
sort of approach to doing it.
Right.
I love those songs. Any Brill Building.
And then the problem became later when at some point the record companies started saying they would find these artists who were doing anything but pop, but it wouldn't get played on the radio. Yeah. So the labels would say, we want you to do this kind of music and this, because it gets played on the radio and more people hear it and all of that.
Did you ever face that?
To some degree, yeah. I remember I was on RCA for about a minute.
Yeah.
Until I actually asked them to let me go.
Yeah.
Because it was just filled with people at the label who just didn't get me, and this whole idea about getting on the radio thing. I remember I cut these tracks, and they sent them to this guy Dave Thorner in New York to remix them. All the tracks got remixed for the radio, which meant the vocal was pushed to the back, the bass was pushed up front.
It's a different song.
They got them at the guy who was my A&R guy at the time, called me and said, "Come into my office. I got the mixes back from Dave Thorner." And he was all excited, and I drove over there, and he started playing them in his office, and he's jumping up and down in his Gucci shoes going, "Isn't this great? It sounds like a real record now." And I was just like,
Fuck you.
yeah. I said, "No, I hate it. It sucks. I absolutely hate this." And then, that started the whole big comedy of errors, between me and the label guys, because it had to be something I liked, but that they also thought was commercially viable, which was next to impossible.
It's frustrating.
Very frustrating, yeah.
I could sit here all day and keep playing songs with you.
I know, me too.
I don't want to keep you that much longer, but maybe I'll do one more.
Okay.
Ugh. This is a tough choice.
Audioslave.
Yeah.
Show Me How to Live.
Come on now.
What an amazing, great fucking song. I
Yeah.
mean, the concept of that, the idea for that song just is so great, blows my mind.
Why?
Well, first of all, I'd never heard a song like that before. It's savage, it's spiritual at the same time. It makes you think. And I've felt that way before. I think we all, as human beings, everyone has to have had a feeling similar to that, at least at one time or another, Like, okay, here I am. Now what do I do? God, you made me. Now show me how to live. That is heavy and intense and spiritual and, dare I say it, but sexy at the same time. She said it. She said spiritual and sexy in the same paragraph.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what happens.
I mean, the music is so, again, that primal primitive vibe, just, it's very blues. That's one of the things I love about what they did was they mixed, they used a lot of blues stuff in their music and, real, I just love them.
One of the best.
Yeah. I tried to record this song actually because I fell in love with it. Went to the studio with my band and started it gives you an idea of what his range is like and how powerful his voice is because I couldn't do it. I tried to sing it and I would have had to start so low on the first part of it so I could reach the other notes by the time I got to the top of it. And we just never could find the right key and stuff. And I was really bummed because I wanted to learn that song and interpret it and record it. And it was out of my league.
How are you discovering new music now? And what is music like in your day-to-day life? Not the music that you're making, but music that you're listening to. What is that like for you?
A lot of times through friends, other people tell me about an artist or, I might hear about them or see something about them somewhere. And I love discovering new artists. That's one of my favorite things. And, just talking to them. Sometimes we end up being friends and, and there's some great artists out there trying to get started and get something happening. And I like to try to help them when I can and, just tell people about them. Or sometimes I'll have them open shows for me so I can introduce them to my audience, like Tom Petty did for me. Because I remember what it was like trying to get your foot in the door. And it's hard.
What keeps you sort of going, right? When I want to be a musician. And it takes a long time.
Yeah.
For most people.
It did.
They don't make it right away. What keeps you going?
I probably had enough little spurts of positive action here and there that kind of propelled me, like other people's feedback and response when I would sing, when I would write my own songs and sing them, and they would give me positive encouragement. And a lot of people would say, you've got a lot of soul and you've got something there, but you need to work on your stage presence or something like that. They give me constructive criticism. And I would always listen. My dad would encourage my writing and give me really great constructive criticism because he taught creative writing, college level. That was his thing. And, unfortunately, I never studied it formally in school, but I just kind of learned on my own from listening to other songwriters and then talking with my dad about lyrics and all that. And, sometimes he could just say very little, but it would hold so much importance. Like he would say, never censor yourself. That really stuck with me. And he taught me about the economics of writing, you know, to trim the fat. You don't need all this extra, you know, parables and syllables and blah, blah, blah. You know, just get to what you want to say and just keep it, you know, simple and basic. And he taught me about appealing to different kinds of people, not just an elite group, you know. And that, I liked that. All of his advice made sense to me.
It's good advice for anyone.
Yeah, it is.
Keep it. Sometimes you can say the most complicated things through the simplest words.
Right, yeah. And he was really good at that in his poetry, you know. He liked to think that a guy driving a semi on the highway could read his poetry and understand it and enjoy it. And I like to think in the same way about my songs, you know. I wanted just the everyday person, you know, to appreciate what I did. And they came to appreciate it. At different ages. I'm starting to get younger people who come to see me play, which I really like.
Yeah.
You know, like 20-something-year-olds. And, you know, they're starting to get into it and enjoy it and everything. I love that, you know. Like, I don't want just middle-aged people coming, you know, or whatever. I mean, now I sound ageist.
No, I totally understand what you're saying.
I like to think, because the youth of today is so important, you know, because they're the audience of tomorrow. So, of course, I want them, you know, to be drawn to me and everything.
Yeah, and young people want to sort of be able to go back and say, who are different people and take pieces of everything from different time periods and bring it into now.
They're the best audience I have probably right now. Or, you know, the young, I don't know what gen that is, you know, Y, Z, W, whatever, you know, X, something.
That's got to be a pretty cool feeling, especially when you see someone who singing along to one of your songs that maybe came out before they were even born.
It's really good, great.
And it's still connecting with people. It's like, it's timeless. And that's...
Exactly. That's what's great about it, is that timelessness. And a lot of them they'll come up to say hi to me after the show sometimes, and they'll tell me, like, well, my dad and my mother used to take me to see you play, you know, when I was a kid. And now they're coming and bringing their kids, you know. So that's always really gratifying.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess people got to come to Lucinda's, come have a drink.
Yeah, come to my bar.
Listen to some music. Are you going to be here? You're here every night, right? You just hang out and drink here?
I'm not always able to be in New York as long as I want to. But, I mean, I live in Nashville right now.
So there's a chance if you come here, maybe Lucinda's going to be there. Maybe.
When I'm in the city, of course, I go by. I was in there last night hanging out.
There we go. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak to us.
Thanks for having me.
This was really fun.
It was really fun.
Great songs. Okay.
Loved it. I loved all your picks. They're great.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you, too.
An honor.
The Trackstar Podcast is a presentation of public opinion created by me, Jack Coyne, Kieran Coyne, and Henry Cornaros. Written and produced by Noah John. Edited and produced by Haley Sobel. Theme and original composition by Kieran Coyne. Mixing by Devin Klein. Our agent is Joanna Orland at UTA. Thanks for listening. See you next Wednesday.